Hello friends, today we are going to study about biological oxidation and reduction. First of all, let's understand what we mean by oxidation and reduction. Oxidation and reduction has three definitions. First is addition of oxygen is oxidation. On the contrary, removal of oxygen is reduction. So oxidation, from the name we can understand that anything is oxidizing. So oxidation, the word come from oxygen only. So addition of oxygen is oxidation, removal of oxygen is reduction. Second is removal of hydrogen is oxidation, and addition of hydrogen is reduction. In any compound, if hydrogen is removed from it, the compound will become oxidized. If hydrogen is added in it, the compound will become reduced. Okay. For example, we all know this reaction. What is this reaction? Photosynthesis, right? Carbon dioxide plus water giving glucose or food is the process of photosynthesis. What is happening in the process of photosynthesis? Here, carbon dioxide is being reduced because in CO2 hydrogen is added to form C6H12O6. So in this reaction, carbon dioxide is reduced to form glucose. So the food, glucose C6H12O6, because it contains hydrogen, so this is a reduced compound. Clear? Photosynthesis is the process in which carbon dioxide is reduced. The product which is formed, the glucose, because it contains hydrogen, so this is a reduced compound. Now, the reverse of this, what this reaction is? Photosynthesis. The reverse of this reaction is glucose to CO2 plus H2. This is respiration. What is happening here? Glucose is converting into CO2 and H2. That means it is being oxidized now because hydrogen is removed to form CO2 plus H2O. So in photosynthesis, the carbon dioxide is reduced. The product glucose is a reduced compound. In respiration, the food, which is a reduced compound, this is oxidized to form CO2 plus H2O. So the reduced compound is oxidized to form CO2 and H2O. In respiration, what is reduced then? Where this hydrogen is getting added? Here. So if you remove hydrogen from here, it is actually what? Oxygen. In the oxygen, hydrogen is added to form water. So oxygen is reduced in respiration. Clear? In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is reduced to form glucose, which is a reduced compound. In respiration, this reduced compound is being oxidized and forms CO2 plus H2O. So in this reaction, what is reduced? Oxygen is reduced by the addition of hydrogen to form a reduced compound H2O. Understood? Now, the third definition. Removal of electron is also oxidation. Similarly, addition of electron is reduction. So, for oxidation and reduction, addition of oxygen is oxidation, removal of oxygen is reduction. Removal of hydrogen is oxidation, addition of hydrogen is reduction. Removal of electron is also oxidation, and addition of electron is reduction. Clear? What is oxidation and what is reduction? In the biological system, this oxidation and reduction reaction is actually the basis of all the work done by the cell. Clear? How? That we will study in the next slide. Now for oxidation and reduction, what actually happens is one substance, it will transfer electron, it will gain electron first and will transfer the electron to another compound. So when 1 is transferring the electron to 2, so what is happening here? Removal of oxygen is oxidation. So this compound is oxidized. This compound is then reduced. 2 will transfer the electron to 3. During this transfer, 2 is oxidized, 3 is reduced. And like this, the process will continue up to a terminal acceptor. Say for example, this fifth one is a terminal acceptor. Okay. So this flow of electron is actually responsible for all the work done by the cell. Clear? So oxidation is addition of oxygen, removal of hydrogen, removal of electron. Reduction is removal of oxygen, addition of hydrogen and addition of electron. Clear? In a cell, whatever work is done by the cell, the basis of all those work is oxidation and reduction reaction, which we commonly known as redox reaction. So one compound will transfer the electron to the second compound, second will transfer to the third and so on. The compound which is transferring the electron is being oxidized. The compound which takes the electron is reduced. Clear? And why this electron is flowing? Because from 1 to 2. If we say electron is being transferred from compound 1 to compound 2, that means compound 2 has more affinity for electron. That's why it can donate, 1 can donate the electron and 2 can take the electron. Similarly, 3 has more electron affinity compared to 2. Therefore, 2 can donate electron to 3. 4 has more electron affinity compared to 3. Therefore, 3 can donate electron to 4 or 4 can take electron from 3. This flow of electron is actually responsible for all the work done by a cell. So the next question is how? In a non-biological system, you have all seen a battery. A battery has a positive end and a negative end. Why so? Because battery contains some chemical compounds. The compounds differ in their electron affinity, because of which one compound will have more electron affinity compared to the other compound. So electron will continuously flow. Why? Because in a battery, we have two types of chemicals. One is having more electron affinity compared to the other one, because of which there always occurs a electron flow. Now, how the electron will flow from one end to another end? It needs a path, right? If you want to travel from point A to point B, you need a path or a medium to travel, right? Similarly, electrons also need a medium to travel, and this medium is wire in a non-biological system or in a battery case, I'm telling you. So a battery is connected with a wire, a circuit. The circuit means it's a wire. Through this wire, the electrons will travel from one end to another end. This end has more electron affinity compared to this end. Therefore, this end can donate electron to the more electron affinity end. So for this, electron will continuously flow, but it needs a path to flow. So this path is wire. Now in this path, if we place a motor, what this motor will do? Whenever the electron flows, during that process, energy is also released. So this motor will act as an energy transducer. Means it will take that energy and use that energy to do any mechanical work. Whenever the electron flows, electron flow is always accompanied with energy release. So whenever the electron is flowing, energy is released. So this energy is captured by motor to do any mechanical work. So this motor is actually attached with any mechanical device and this mechanical device will perform the work. The same mechanism works in a biological system. Here, in a cell, the battery consists of one positive and negative end, that is, one end is glucose. The terminal acceptor of the electron is oxygen. Somebody should donate the electron, then only the other person can take, or then only the electrons will flow from one end to another. So in biological system, the donor of the energy is glucose, because just now we studied respiration is breakdown of food to CO2 plus H2O. Here oxygen is being reduced and this glucose is oxidized. So when the glucose is oxidized, what we learned, oxidation is removal of electron. So when the glucose is being oxidized along with removal of hydrogen, electrons also remove. So glucose is the electron donor. So from glucose, the electron will start flowing and will reach to oxygen. In biological system, this path of electron flow, this is known as electron transport chain, which is transporting the electron. In a non-biological system, it is a wire. In a biological system, this wire is an electron transport chain, which transfer electron from one compound to another, or from one electron donor to another electron acceptor. Now, in this flow, if we put a motor in our biological cell, the motor is any enzyme or protein. So what they will do? Because electron flow is accompanied with energy release, it will capture this energy to perform any work. But to perform any work, we need a mechanical device. So here the mechanical device is transmembrane pH difference. What is pH? Concentration of H plus. So transmembrane means the either side of the membrane. If in one side more of H plus, that means less pH. Less H plus means more pH. So in either side of the membrane, if there is a difference in pH, that means this pH is what? H plus, right? So H is also known as proton. So we can also say there is a formation of a proton gradient. One side more, one side less. This is also known by proton motive force. Clear? The energy transducers, that means the enzymes or any protein will use this energy to form a proton motive force or to generate a proton motive force. This proton motive force will then use to perform any work. The work performed is synthesis of ATP. In a biological system, glucose is being oxidized. During this process, electrons are released. These electrons are transported through electron transport chain. While the transport of electron, the energy is also released. This energy is captured by any energy transducers like enzyme or protein. These energy transducers, like any enzymes or protein, will transfer this energy to form or to generate a proton motive force. What is proton motive force or how it is generated? Due to transmembrane pH difference. Clear? Due to this transmembrane pH difference, a force is generated which is known as proton motive force. This force is then used to perform any work. Here the work is synthesis of ATP. Clear? In a biological system, this mechanical device is PMF, that is proton motive force. The energy transducer is any enzyme or protein. In a non-biological system, the energy transducer is any motor. Similarly, in our body, the motor is any enzyme or protein. They'll convert this energy to proton motive force, which is a mechanical device. In a non-biological system, this mechanical device will perform work. In a biological system, this proton motive force will perform work, will synthesize ATP. In E. coli, this proton motive force is used for flagellar movement. Clear? So various works can be done using this proton motive force. Clear? Now one more point is This flow of electron, whether in a biological system or in a non-biological system, the flow of electron depends upon the difference in electron affinity. The more the difference, the more the electron will flow. So because of the difference in electron affinity, the flow of electron occurs. This force is known as electromotive force. Okay, the flow of electron, or we can say the force that drives the flow of electron, is known as electromotive force, which depends upon what? Difference in electron affinity. More the difference, more will be the force. Okay, understood? So let's summarize what we studied now. What we studied in a biological system, we need a source for electron flow, because first we understood is flow of electron is responsible for all the work done by the cell. The flow of electron is responsible for all the work done by a cell. Now electrons will flow from one compound to another compound. Like this, the process will continue until a final acceptor. All these compounds differ in electron affinity. 2 will have more electron affinity compared to 1. That's why 1 can donate electron to 2. 3 will have more electron affinity than 2. Therefore, 2 can donate electron to 3. And like this, the process continues. This transport of electron happens in electron transport chain, which we will study during oxidative phosphorylation. Now, how this one get the electron? It is from food. When the food is oxidized, it releases electron. Clear? This electron then enter electron transport chain, which will transfer electron in a series. When the electron is being transferred, during this process, energy is also released. Energy is also released. This energy is captured by energy transducer. In a cell, the energy transducer can be any enzyme or protein. They will convert this energy into a proton motive force. This proton motive force is used to perform work. For example, in a mitochondria, it performs synthesis of ATP. In a bacterial cell, it performs flagellar movement. Okay, so all the work done in a cell depends upon directly or indirectly the flow of electrons. This flow of electron depends upon electron motive force, which depends upon again the difference in electron affinity. More the difference, more will be the force. It will be easy to transfer the electron. So oxidation and reduction, or the redox reaction, is the basis of all the work done in a cell. This electron flow is exergonic in nature. Now, the question for you all is why electron flow is exergonic in nature. Do let me know in the comment section. If you found the video informative, please do like, share and subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for the next video notification. Till then, stay safe, stay happy.